There it is.
There it is.
Episode 22.
Yes. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
You're Adam.
I am Adam.
And I'm Steve.
You're Steve. That's right. We're still Adam and Steve. That's
we
good
are.
to know.
And this is still the whiteboard session.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Today's going to be a little interesting from what I hear from our 2 seconds before we hit record.
It should be. This is episode 22 in the year.
Episode 22.
22.
Yeah. Whoa, hey.
So we got a theme going.
Didn't even notice that.
Yeah, this should be a little bit different today.
Yeah. You got the topic.
Yeah.
You alluded to it, but I don't know. I don't quite know.
So, we've talked, I think, a lot about personal development stuff, leadership stuff, a whole host of things that I think are soft skill related, things like that. Today's topic is something a little bit more tangible or a lot bit tangible, and that's sales and selling.
Sales and selling.
What do you think? If somebody asked you, are you in sales?
Yeah. Well, I'm in marketing, which is very close tied with sales, Yeah. I think they're sister departments, functions,
for sure.
avenues.
But as it relates to us doing this business,
yeah. I mean, I feel like
sell our asses off.
Oh, exactly. I was just going to say, I think anybody that owns their own business and does it, you have to.
Right.
Have to be a salesperson.
It's one of those. So we were up in beautiful, exotic, tropical Fargo, North Dakota last week.
Yep.
We were having fun with a great client up there, and we were talking about sales.
Yep.
And so what was the term they uttered? The catchphrase?
Yeah. So at the end of it, they're like, we had this like realization. We're like, that's the bang.
Right.
And so we were talking about the bang for your buck.
Yeah, the bang for the buck, and how customers, whether you're buying a car or a TV or accounting services or insurance or whatever, people want to feel like they get a good value, or I just want a bang for my buck.
Yeah. Yep.
And so we wanted to break down, when it comes to sales and selling, what is the bang for the buck? What's the bang?
Yep.
Thoughts on that?
Yeah, what's the bang? Is it the quality, service, convenience, value, the what's the word I'm looking for? The unique differentiator that whatever that person wants to grab onto. What makes you want to go with that company? What's their bang?
Yeah. I hope that whoever edits this video flashes all those words that you just said. Quality, service, convenience, and value.
There it is.
Those 4 things, no matter what people are buying, whether it's a thing or a service, tangible or intangible, those are the 4 key ingredients, the core components of the bang for the buck.
So if you're looking to watch this podcast, get the answer right out of the gate. What's the bang? That's the bang.
That's the bang. Yeah. So, but there's some magic into making sure that the bang, I guess, feels like the right bang.
Exactly.
We look at quality, and so quality takes shape and form. And I mean, obviously, if it's a product, if you're selling a product,
quality product,
you better have a product that is really, 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 really good, or in some cases, really, really, really cheap.
Yeah,
because it used to be, there used to be I think a good chunk of the market where the middle, people would buy the middle component, but now, I think the middle's dead.
It's pretty, darn close. Either people want, to pay really good money to get something really good. They know it's going to last. They know it's really like well crafted, or it's a physical product that's, going to last a very long time.
Right.
Or they're like, well, I don't really need the super quality thing for this. We're going to save money on this. So let's just get the cheap one.
Exactly.
And it'll be lower quality, lower value.
Right.
But it'll be less cost too.
Right. You do a lot in CX.
Yes.
Which is also known as customer experience.
Yep.
And that's another key area, especially these days, I think, that you would say, hell yeah, that when it comes to quality, that quality of experience is absolutely key when we're talking about quality as it relates to the bang for the buck.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, more and more you'll see businesses, and maybe you're a business right now looking to enhance your CX, your customer experience, your user experience. And in quality is huge. I mean, the quality of how the customer interacts with your business, the quality of the perceptions of your business, the quality of them down to navigating your website or using your product,
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're thinking bang for the buck, that quality is a key component. I don't know if I would necessarily put it first, but I suppose it could be. The second ingredient for bang for the buck is quality service. And service, it's interesting to me. In fact, I didn't think about this till just like 10, 15 seconds ago when you were talking. Have you heard Discover Card and how they're advertising right now?
Oh gosh,
what they're talking about?
I don't watch a ton of TV, so I don't know. Hit me with
Well,
it.
it's not on TV. I hear it on podcasts.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
hear it on this iHeartRadio that I listen to, and then I also hear it on radio stations.
Okay.
So it's coming audio wise. And Discover is talking about customer service and how it's all U.S. based.
Okay.
And I think that they're alluding to the fact that people can relate. You know, there's not the language barrier.
Okay.
There's not.
Okay, I see.
I'm assuming maybe there's not the challenging dialect that's in place sometimes.
Yeah.
What? Tell me what you're
That's
thinking.
an interesting push for them, because you would think that if you get quality service from a business, quality customer service, like if you're watching this video, you think to yourself right now, when is a time that I've had a really good customer experience?
Yeah.
It could be as a whole, or it could be just with like a customer service branch.
Right.
Like I just recently had one too. And we've discussed a bunch over the most recent times. It doesn't really matter who you're working with or what they sound like or whatever, as long as it's a good interaction, they take care of your needs and expectations, and the service can be great. That's a weird.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I recently had some work done on my car.
Yeah.
And I was trying to set up an appointment to have the car brought in, and it was needing a bunch of stuff, just like regular maintenance stuff. Yeah. And so I wanted to make sure that there was a loaner car available. And I ended up talking to this young kid. Ultimately, at the end of the interaction, I asked his name, which was Luigi.
Yes.
And during the exchange, when I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to drive over there the next morning at first thing in the morning, I wanted to make sure that there was going to be a loaner. And he said, well, I can't guarantee that. And I said, well, I'm not, I mean, I need to have a loaner. I mean, I got to drop that off. You know, blah, 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 blah. And he said, hey, you got to risk it to get the biscuit. I said, well, risk it to get the what?
Yeah, they put Mario on the phone. This is some God.
But I think that whole service thing, that there is, you know, some maybe, I don't know, some core values. For me, candidly, I do run into times where the dialect or some of that, where there's a language thing, it's hard to feel understood.
Interesting.
You know, when I'm communicating, and it's hard for me to understand sometimes when you've got a good customer service person that's legitimately trying to help. Sometimes I think that communication barrier. So I'm not sure if that's what Discover means as far as,
I'd be interested.
you know, their US based customer service, you know, support or people or whatever.
Discover, if you're watching this, give us a call. We want to chat about this. We got some thoughts and feelings on this one. So.
Exactly.
Because my wife and I bought a piece of furniture, part of it was broken, so I had to speak to and I ended up speaking to somebody. I don't know if they're U.S. based or not, but they were of a foreign, nationality. But I had a great interaction with them, and I always ask their name, and I'm like, if I ever have a business that I need customer service, I want to hire that person. You know?
Well, and I think about the interaction with many of our clients when we're talking about, you know, customer experience, which, you know, and that's probably a whole other podcast at some point. But just what's the difference between customer service and customer experience and blah blah blah. But how there's so many moments in the interaction with a customer, whether it's a short-term, you know, sales interaction or long-term, to provide good service, but to have everybody really, really, you know, tuned in to service being a huge opportunity to make sure that the customer feels and legitimately gets and receives bang for the buck.
Exactly. Well, and that's a good transition to the next thing. If you have good service, that can be a very convenient thing to have, especially when you have a bad product and you don't want to ship it back, or it's very convenient to have a loaner and not have to just sit on the sidelines for a week.
Oh, so absolutely.
The third bang for the buck.
Convenience for sure. And so who comes to mind when we think about convenience?
Oh man, Amazon.
I've heard of them.
They're newish. Yeah. They just started.
Yeah.
They're a startup.
Oh my gosh. So I think on
Amazon
that iHeart app that I use for podcasts and for some radio, there's a new podcast. I'm going to forget what the name is, but it's all about Jeff Bezos and Amazon. And they talk about the lead in as they're marketing this podcast is that Amazon is obsessed with the customer.
Yeah.
And and it almost sounds like in this podcast they're making a play that Amazon has almost gone too far in understanding the customer. Like they know how we think and what we buy. And in the promo they talk about the fact that when people watch a certain movie they end up buying more Tide.
Oh, funny.
And some people might think, well, that's kind of intrusive.
Yeah.
You know, how do you know that about me?
Of course.
But if you take their little slogan that we're obsessed with the customer, why wouldn't you want to know as much about your customer as possible to
Yeah.
give them what they want or they need in the moment or the moment before
Mm-hmm.
they actually need it? What do you think about that?
I mean, that's one of those things where, especially from a customer experience standpoint, like we were just talking about, understanding, well, this is just a business thing, but understanding your needs, your customers' needs and expectations before you do anything is huge.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, I'd be surprised if that was such a thing as understanding your customers too much.
Yeah.
I get it. I get the intrusiveness. There's times where I'm like, oh, that's a little weird.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Obviously, everybody thinks every device is listening to them, and there's,
It is.
microchips planted everywhere, and exactly. But the convenience of having them know those things, and maybe even understanding or anticipating your next move can be super convenient. And there's times where, we get the dog food delivered on time, and I just, blank and it shows up, or whatever it may be. I mean, there's a million convenience examples we could probably give, but that's a huge piece. And that's a huge piece of why people might even pay a little bit more, right? Like Amazon isn't the cheapest around anymore, but people will pay for that convenience.
Really?
Hey.
We'll have to talk off air.
Off air.
Yeah. No, is there any doubt in your mind, just as a side note, that the devices listen?
Depends on what it is.
Allison and I have been, the Kardashians came up in a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I might have seen an episode or two of the show.
Regularly
and all of a sudden,
tuning
in my feed, it's like Khloe Kardashian is everywhere on my feed, and I've never Googled or searched or done anything.
Yeah, I feel like it's a probably 90% rate that it's listening.
I forget the other one. Maybe it's Courtney. It's the one dating the really tattooed guy.
Yeah, Travis Barker, Courtney.
Yeah, Courtney.
I don't know how I know that. I just don't hold that again. That was a pure guess.
Yeah,
would
sure.
you look at the
An
time?
accurate guess.
The last one's value. No.
Exactly. So the last one is value. So we got quality, service, convenience, and the fourth one, ladies and gentlemen, as far as delivering the bang for the buck, the last one is value. What the hell is value?
Yeah. Well, it could come in a lot of forms.
Absolutely.
Value. The greater perceived value to a product, the greater the value has. How many, what are some amenities it gives you too? What are some extra things on the side that you're not necessarily paying for, or you could be paying for, but not on surface level.
In a book from the 80s, I think it's called Rethinking the Sales Force or something like that, they actually nailed down the equation for value. And our editor, I'm sure, will blast this on the screen. Value equals benefit minus cost.
Yep.
And you think, okay, well, what's the benefit? Don't ask me. Ask your customer.
Exactly.
What do they consider cost? Again, don't ask us. Ask your customer. You have to know what your customers consider benefit and what they consider cost to be able to deliver a good value so that they ultimately get the bang for their buck.
Exactly. And when he says cost, price versus cost. We're not talking just the dollar figure.
I think that after
a whole other
I think after today we'll don't you think we'll do some more of these sales related?
Yeah,
because I just don't think we've done much of that, and that is a whole major component of the stuff that we've done in our careers, the stuff that we do in this business, and how we help people, and it's a very important function. So absolutely that there's a difference between cost and price, and sometimes there's emotional cost. And time cost.
Yep, exactly.
The cost of convenience and some of those other things.
I was just going to say, the value to you is, what are you going to benefit out of it?
Yep.
Minus what does it cost you in the time and the money and all that stuff. So it's a great equation.
So the last little twist I just want to put on this bang for the buck for all the leaders, for all the business owners out there, is don't forget that bang for the buck as it relates to customers include your employees.
Yep.
In many cases, for a lot of us, our employees are the most important customer in the marketplace for us, because we know that if we take care of that customer, they take care of the actual customer.
Yep.
So how can we, improve the quality of working in our business, the convenience, the service that we provide as an employer, and then finally, what is the value? Do you know what what your employees consider, benefit, and what the employees consider cost? And it's going to be different for the different employees, the different departments, and the different functions that they're in.
Exactly. No, I think that's a great way to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
what's the bang?
The bang, quality, service, convenience, and value. There's your 4 ingredients.
Episode 22.
22 in the books.
That's the bang.
Yeah. See you next time.